We're going to go through the questions very quickly. What change, if any, should be made in sentence 4? Change in sentence 4. If you underline those keywords, give yourself a tally mark. In sentence 4, we said it's the 100th birthday that belongs to Abigail's grandmother, so it's her grandmother's 100th birthday. So we said it needs an apostrophe between the R and the S. So you should have put a maybe baby or a dot for possibility on C. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. I don't even have to go plug this in. Change special, S-P-E-C-I-A-L, to special, S-P-E-S-H-I-A-L. Oh, good grief. That is misspelled. And that's all you need to put on that. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Change her to there. Her is talking about one person that's a girl. There is talking about more than one person. Let's see. Her great-grandmother. When Abigail of Stockholm, New Jersey was just 7 years old, she wanted to do something special for her grandmother. Abigail wanted to do something special for her grandmother. Abigail wanted to do something special for their grandmother. Her is the right word. So on this one, you could put wrong word, you could put wrong pronoun. But her is the correct answer. We're not talking about more than one person, so we know that's not right. No change should be made. You should bleep out the no, so it should say change should be made in sentence 4. So my only correct answer is C. If you pick C as your correct answer and you fixed it that way in your story, give yourself a tally mark. Number 14. What change, if any, should be made in sentence 10? You should have underlined change in sentence 10. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. What we said in sentence 10 is that when you have a quotation mark or quotations that come around words that someone actually said, you have to have a beginning to your quotation and an end to your quotation. And this was missing the beginning quotation. So insert quotation marks at the beginning of the sentence. This should be your dot for possibility or your maybe baby. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Delete the comma. Let's look. Oh, look, we need this comma. Anytime you have quotation marks, if it's at the beginning of the sentence, so if there's part of the sentence, like if it said Abigail said, and then it went into the quotation, you would have to separate the Abigail said and the quotations with a comma. Since the sentence continues after the quotation marks, you have to separate the quote from the rest of the sentence with a comma. So in this case, the comma is needed. So delete the comma. All you could say is comma needed. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Change says to says that shows possession. Says Abigail. The Abigail that belongs to says. Well, that certainly wouldn't make sense. The Abigail that belongs to says. So you could say doesn't show ownership. You could bleep out the apostrophe. You could even say no apostrophe needed. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Make no change. Anytime you see the word make no change, those 3 words in the history of forever, in the STAR test and the TAKS test, the 3 words make no change has never been the right answer. Never. So you could put not a choice. If you forgot that, then you could just bleep out the no and just say make change. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. My only correct answer is F. And that's how we fixed it in the story. So if you picked F as your correct answer and you fixed it that way in your story, give yourself a tally mark. The next one. What is the correct way to write sentence 17 and 18? So right here, the correct way to write sentence 17 and 18. We said that the first sentence, sentence 17, is correct, but sentence 18 is a sentence fragment. Called Blair's Bears for Haiti, that's not a complete sentence. So we're going to combine it. So if you underline those keywords, give yourself a tally mark. And then anytime it says write, rewrite, revise, combine, and the sentences look a lot alike, all the attention prompted, all the attention prompted, all the attention prompted, all the attention prompted. Anytime that the sentences look a lot alike, we use our strategy of Chinese, which means instead of having to write a long explanation out beside your answer, you're simply going to just put what you want to change. You're just going to pick the answer that you know is correct or that you think is correct, and you're going to make all the rest of your answer choices look like that. So let's just look at it. We're going to put a simple check or X by the one. So let's look. All the attention prompted Blair to create an organization. That's actually okay. Which he called Blair's Bears for Haiti, which he called Blair's Bear for Haiti is not a complete sentence, so that wouldn't work. So I'm going to put an X by that. All the attention prompting Blair to create an organization called Blair's Bears for Haiti. Well, that would be all right, but prompted, this whole story happened in the past tense. Prompting is happening in the present tense, so that doesn't sound right. All the attention prompting Blair, that doesn't make sense. All the attention prompted Blair to create an organization. I'm going to circle this comma. All the attention prompted Blair to create an organization. It's complete right here. It was called Blair's Bears for Haiti. It's complete right there. So it's complete on the left, complete on the right. It needs both a comma and a fanboys to make it right. And it only has a comma. It doesn't have a fanboys word. So we know that's not a good choice. So Holy Toledo. We have these three that we know are not good choices. And so let's look at D and see if it is. All the attention prompted Blair to create an organization called Blair's Bears for Haiti. That actually sounds great. So you're going to put a maybe baby or a dot for possibility on D. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. So now, using our Chinese proofreading marks very quickly, we're going to make all of our answer choices look like this. So let's look. We're going to play the matching game and see what the difference is. All the attention prompted Blair to create an organization. Oh, you know what? We just don't need the period and we don't need the which he. The organization called Blair's Bear for Haiti. So to make this one look just like this one, all you had to do was bleep out the period and the which he. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Here's the next one. All the attention prompting, oh, this is the wrong tense. So you could bleep out the ing and insert ed. All the attention prompted Blair to create an organization called Blair's Bears for Haiti. So the only thing that made this one look different than this one is that this word was the wrong tense. Now, if you weren't looking at this very critically, you would say, Miss Walls, these are exactly the same. And I would say, nope, they're not. You got to go back and check. Here's the next one. All the attention prompted Blair to create an organization. You don't need the period or the comma, and you don't need the it was. All the attention prompted Blair to create an organization called Blair's Bears for Haiti. So this just needed to bleep out the comma and the it was, and it would make this one look just like this. So my only correct answer on that is D, and that's exactly the way we fixed it in our story. So if you picked D as your correct answer and you fixed it that way in your story, give yourself a tally mark. We're trying to move quickly. What change needs to be made in sentence 22? Change in sentence 22. When you look at sentence 22, we said that they used the wrong word. They used your, like something that belongs to you, and it should be you are, because it would make sense to say if you are young. So it's Y-O-U''RE. Let's see if that's an answer choice. It is. So you should have put a maybe baby or a dot for possibility on F. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Change the period to a comma. Well, let's look at that. Can you end a sentence with a comma? You might think you could because I said something about commas and quotation marks. But you can't end a sentence with a comma. You have to end a sentence with an end mark, which is a question mark, a period, or an exclamation point. So the period is needed. So you could say no comma needed or period is needed. Either one of those I would take. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Delete the quotation mark at the end of the sentence. Well, we just talked about that. If you have a quote that someone actually says, you have to have a quotation mark at the beginning of the quote and a quotation mark at the end of the quote. So you need both of these quotation marks. So delete the quotation marks. I would just say quotation marks needed. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. No change needs to be made in sentence 22. Well, we said there needs to be changes made in 22. So you would bleep out no. So just say change needs to be made. So my only correct answer is F. If you picked F as your correct answer and you fixed it that way in your story, give yourself a tally mark. Each one of my answers out beside it, it makes you go back and critically look and ask yourself, okay, I think this is my right answer, but I'm going to double check these other ones and I'm going to tell why I can't pick these. When you follow this strategy and you're proving your right answer is right by fixing it this way in your story and your wrong answer is wrong, telling why they're wrong, you're going to do good on this. There's no way to not do good on this. Sentence 17. What change, if any, needs to be made in sentence 30? You should have underlined change in sentence 30. If you underline those key words, give yourself a tally mark. In sentence 30, it said, help has now sended approximately 700 blankets. Well, sended is not a word. It should be sent. So you should have put a dot for possibility or a maybe baby on B. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Change has to having. Well, I think this is kind of the same problem because, let's see, help has now sended approximately 700 blankets to children in the Middle East, Africa, and Central America. Help having now sended. Having now sended. Having is present tense, but let's look. He wanted, she began, she made. All of those are past tense words. So you don't want to change a past tense word to a present tense word when all the words around it are past tense. So in this case, the beginning of the word is the same. The ending is different and it doesn't make sense. So we're going to write wrong. I'll put wrong word. Wrong tense. It should be wrong tense. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Change to children to they have gone to children. Well, these are tricky when they do this to you. Let me just tell you. Help has now sended approximately 700 blankets. They have gone to children in the Middle East, Africa, and Central America. By changing they have gone, that makes this sentence complete on the left, because it would say help has now sended approximately 700 blankets. That's sort of a complete sentence, even though sended doesn't sound right. They have gone to children in the Middle East, Africa, and Central America. So that would make this sentence on this side complete, this sentence on this side complete. If it's complete on the left, complete on the right, you need both a comma and a fanboy to make it right. And they didn't add a comma or a fanboy, so that wouldn't work. That would just make it one giant run-on. So on this, to prove it wrong, I would put not needed, makes it a run-on. I would put any of that. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. No change should be made. Just bleep out no and say change should be made. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. My only correct answer on that one is B. If you pick B as your correct answer and you fixed it that way in your story, give yourself a tally mark. What change needs to be made in sentence 35? Change in sentence 35. If you underline those keywords, give yourself a tally mark. When we look over here at sentence 35, we said that themselves needs to be changed to themselves. If you, that is an answer choice, so you should have put a dot for possibility or a maybe baby on J. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Change saw to seen. Each of these young people seen a need. Is that how we talk? Oh my word. If that's how you talk the Wednesday before the STAR test on Tuesday, we are in big trouble. Young people seen a need. We don't talk like that. So this is the wrong word, or you could put wrong tense. That just doesn't work. Unless your name's Billy Bob Jim Bob, that's not going to work. Change instead of to instead of. Each of these young people saw a need, and instead of waiting for an adult to address it, instead of or instead of. It should be instead of. So again, you could put wrong word. You could also just bloop off the F. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. Change address it to address them. Let's look. Each of these young people saw a need. We're talking about one need. Instead of waiting for an adult to address it, address what? Address a need. Would a need be it, one, or would it be to address them? Them is more than one, so that would be, say, each of these young people saw many needs, then it would be they. But we're just talking about one need, so the pronoun for one need is it. So, right here, you can put the wrong word, you can put wrong pronoun. Either one of those would work. We're only talking about one. Whatever you do, that's fine. If you did that, give yourself a tally mark. My only correct answer on that is J. If you picked J as your correct answer and you fixed it that way in your story, give yourself a tally mark. Go tell your camp counselor how many tally marks you have earned. Good job, and you can continue working on your writing process.